Welcome to Cammy's Comic Corner.
Welcome to Cammy's Comic Corner.
Welcome to Cammy's Comic Corner.
Welcome to Cammy's Comic Corner. Geeky Talky.
The Return.
Hello, comic book fans, and welcome to another exciting edition of Cammy's Comic Corner, Geeky Talky, The Return.
Yes, returning to you live. Only a week since our last recording, right?
Oh god, I knew I forgot to upload something. Yeah,
Shit.
no. I'm your host as always, Cammy, and I'm joined as usual by, I'll let him introduce himself because he has so many monikers.
So many monikers. Jay Spalding is my stage name. I'm Jeremy Awesome
Jeremy
here.
Awesome. Okay, so he wants to be Jeremy Awesome here.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with it. Stick with the 10 years of canon.
Well, I mean, I think it's been going back and forth these past couple of episodes because I
Yes,
also
it has.
don't know when I'm like tagging you on social media, like,
That's true.
which account should I use?
That's fine.
He's not going to retweet it anyway. It's all
Yeah,
good.
don't worry about that.
So we're back in a flash.
Yes.
It's been a couple months, but yeah,
Been a
no,
minute.
I mean,
You've been busy.
We have been busy, and
Yes.
it's always good to just finally sit down, have some sushi, clear our throats, and then
some
go
of the
sit
best
down and
sushi.
record. Yeah.
Yes, that I've had in this city.
Fuguya sushi.
Yes.
Not sponsored,
We're not
by the way. No,
sponsored.
we're not. But
We
we are
could be
sponsored,
sponsored.
because I put out a tweet moments before we sat down to record, and so one person got back to me. So this episode of Geeky Talky, The Return, has been brought to you by Star Seeds by Charles Globitz from Fantagraphics. I was a student of Mr. Globitz back in the day when I attended college courses at San Diego City College. He was the illustration instructor, and we talked about comics. He taught me a thing or two, and then we've been in contact ever since. And this guy has had a trajectory up to the stars. And
Hey.
his art in Star Seeds, this is the second volume out right now. You could check Amazon. Just type in Star Seeds, all one word.
Did you spell that?
It's STARSEEDS.
Perfect.
There we
Star
go.
Seeds.
And I mean, it's psychedelic. There's mythology. His illustration style is gorgeous. I love it. If you're a fan of Jack Kirby and like maybe some like Steve Ditko, Doctor Strange-esque, era, you will enjoy the hell out of Star Seeds.
Nice.
I have both the collections on my shelf right here.
Yes, you do.
I'm passing this over to Jeremy.
wonderful.
He will flip through the book right now and go,
I'll
"Oh wow,
say-
look at that."
Wow, look at that.
There we go. No, it's some really incredible stuff. And so thank you, Mr. Globitz, for sponsoring the episode. Free plug. And you can plug your product too if you just follow me on social media moments before we record in the week.
Just let us know. Seriously, just whatever you want, man. Just
Oh my
just
God.
swing it by.
I'd like to
This is
submit
amazing.
a poem.
This actually looks super cool.
Oh yeah, you can borrow it and not read it if you want.
Hey, perfect.
Little reference to The Boys being borrowed and brought back. Oh, did you read it? Oh no,
No, definitely not.
Watch the show. Why not?
I watched the show. I saw everything I needed to see.
I love this guy.
Right? It's just like Watchmen, right?
It's just like what? No. I say, good sir. Now you are you're sporting the sticky wicket there. No. It's nothing like that.
Well, I have two different Watchmen products to choose from.
Yeah, you do. Okay,
Yes.
go ahead.
One of them was released a little bit while ago. It was a movie. I don't know if you saw it.
Yes, I did.
By our good friend Zach.
Oh, he's no friend of mine, Mr. Zack Snyder. No.
Zack Snyder? No, well,
and all you hashtag release the Snyder Cut fans, you can go fucking suck an egg. All right, like it's ridiculous.
Why don't you Snyder cut it out?
Yeah, yeah. Tell him, Steve Dave.
Got him.
No, but yeah, I mean, with Watchmen, I don't know if you watched the show on HBO.
I have not.
It's 3 episodes out so far. Well, 4th when this episode airs. Yes. But it is getting phenomenal reviews.
Yeah.
I personally love it.
Yes.
It is.
You've been glowing about it.
Well, no, that's because I'm pregnant.
Oh.
But
Congratulations.
With the show, it is such a great successor to the graphic novel in another medium. It takes the idea, the concept, the world, and just really. Lindelof was saying in press interviews like, "Oh, it's a remix like of like the graphic novel," and people were like, "Well, what does that mean?" And but when you have this huge, amazing cast and like. Trent Reznor of Nine Inch Nails is doing the soundtrack. Like, it's a winning combination. And there's little Easter eggs that harken back as a little homage to the comics.
Nice.
And then they take some of those characters, and they're not the main characters anymore. They're side characters. And it's just been just so great seeing this world building. Because this could easily, if done right, last for several seasons. This could be their new Game of Thrones. And even online, I've been looking at like all the reviews, all the comments on the different websites, And the majority of it is, hey, this is really good. This
Super
surprised me.
positive.
Exactly. Because people are like, it's going to be like Zack Snyder's thing. Or that was the number one question. Do I have to watch the movie to get this? It's like, well, no, don't watch it because also
No, please.
dramatically different ending from the graphic novel. And the graphic novel is, for a reason, one of the best pieces of fiction of all time, especially in comics.
Yes. I did actually read that one that you gave to me long, long ago.
Yes.
Yeah, and I've read it since as well.
And
wonderful graphic novel. The Zack Snyder cut, original or future one
boy.
released, was his own little brand of fun.
With Zach, he doesn't get like the nuances and the layered storytelling.
No.
He just looks at it and goes, "This is a very pretty storyboard. I can do this shot for shot, like he did with 300, like
I
he
can
did with
just
Sin
cut
City.
this out, stick it up." and then-
Exactly, but it's going to lose its meaning. It's going to lose the storytelling, and just the whole ending. Like, well, we don't want audiences to get confused by this psychedelic giant squid coming out of
Giant
nowhere.
squid's gross.
Oh no, let's just have it Dr. Manhattan be the villain. It's essentially the same thing.
Yeah, right.
No, good sir. I was in the theater on opening night going, no, I don't like this. But the show, it's
Show's
definitely
totally worth it.
yes, because they do take the squid and then they put it in the show.
And they swim with it. Yeah.
Yes, they do. They get their tentacles all up into it, so it's a very well done show. I don't want to spoil it too much because I don't know who's waiting for the entire series to be done, and then they're going to go and binge it.
That's typically how I go, yeah.
Yeah.
Not with Game of Thrones. I got caught up on Game of Thrones and I just went crazy on it.
I'm sorry for that.
I am very sorry too, but I think we talked about Game of Thrones.
We
previously.
did, yes, we did, and yes.
But I really am one of the wait for it all to come out, watch it all big at once. The week-to-week thing is a format I'm long past. Please, what is it, the 1990s?
Oh, streamers love you, I bet.
Yeah, they do. It's this is what all these streaming platforms have been made for, is for the me's out there in the world.
Yeah.
Who say, I don't care if it's good or not. I just want the whole thing at once.
Yeah. Well, and a majority of them are, just dropping all the episodes at once. But then you do have some platforms that are still doing the weekly format
Yes.
because they want you to not unsubscribe right away. Like, okay, well,
Yeah, of course.
Oh, well, I binged all of it, so now I can just cancel my free trial run. It's like, or hear me out. We make it go an episode or two past whenever your deadline is, and then you have to re-up. So
Yeah, we've got 5 episodes released weekly. Oh, we
Whoa.
can get an extra month's worth out of you.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's obviously the smarter format, but we're not here to talk economics, are we? We're here to talk about what we prefer.
I'll throw these nuts away then.
Okay, actually, welcome to Cammy's Economics Corner.
Oh God, that would be the worst podcast. So lots of money being spent around the economy and a lot of products being made. And Jeremy, take it away.
Please, I don't know anything.
I was an English major. God damn it.
Tell me about macroeconomics. How that's going. Oh, good.
That's the opposite of microeconomics.
That's actually 100% correct.
I know. I take those words and I know the meanings behind certain things.
I too study.
I know things. I'm not smart, but I know things.
I done run it.
Anyway, but like you said, we're not here to talk about
No,
the economy.
we're here to talk about the Watchmen series. Would you recommend it so far?
I would. There's only
Should
been...
I jump in on it before it all comes out? I know
If
there's only been
anything, I would.
3.
If you have it available to you, and
do.
then
do.
by all means, I would say, hey, it's worth the time. Especially because when that season finale drops, it's going to be like the talk of the town. That's the one thing about HBO series is just like whenever there's a season finale of something, there's always talked about online. You can't go anywhere without getting
Yes,
spoiled. So
that's very true.
Especially if you do want to watch it someday soon or wait for it all to be wrapped up, you're going to have to avoid certain parts of the internet just to make sure it's not going to be spoiled for you outright.
No
like,
Twitter
oh my
versus
God,
me.
that character died. And you're like, what character? Oh, episode 1. Oh, that character. Well, don't grow too attached, I guess.
Yeah, it's weird. It was so weird in episode 1 where everyone was saying that they loved he was alive. It's very odd. It really didn't mean anything to me. But
Interesting artistic choice from the director there, yeah. But no, I would recommend it. There's only, I think it's only 10 episodes a season. So I think the only...
That's an HBO thing. So.
Actually, no, because their official podcast just released last week.
Uh-oh.
And they...
Competition. Watch out.
Oh, HBO, I'm gunning for you. Oh, you will be hearing from me on the Apple's iTunes charts, if that's even a thing anymore. But no, they did a recap with Lindelof of the first 3 episodes. And so I'm pretty sure it's like either 9 episodes or 10. And then they're just going to be doing clusters of 3 episode discussions, which is, I guess, good. And then I'm sure they're going to have like a whole first season wrap up and like going forward, where are we going to be seeing the characters and the different storylines and stuff like that. But no, I mean, I'm a really big fan of it so far. I think it definitely has legs. And I mean, it's just very faithful. And you can tell because Lindelof has even said in interviews, like, Watchmen, when he was first handed the first couple of issues when it was coming out, as a kid, he was just like, this is amazing. And he would just reread them. So he was obviously touched by it so much that he wanted to do it justice. So much so that when HBO first approached him and said, hey, we're thinking about adapting this, would you like take a whack at it?
Yeah, right.
He like declined a couple times. But then he came to his senses and realized, if I'm not going to do it, somebody else will.
Somebody else is going to.
And
they're handing this to other people.
And Zack Snyder, nowadays, he's like, oh, what's that? Work? Oh, I'll take it. So
Zack Snyder's looking for work.
Oh, no. Yeah, we don't want that. Go down.
Is DC still calling him up? Or?
No, he has something coming out on like Netflix, like some zombie versus like army or something like that.
That sounds like the most painfully generic, normal Zack Snyder.
So
property.
yeah, right up his alley. That's definitely playing to his strengths, and it's Netflix. So Warner Brothers is like, yeah, I don't know, no, don't call us. We'll call you next time. We want you to fuck something up. Thanks. You gotta compete with Marvel, and you give us dog shit. Wonderful. But
Netflix,
those are
on
my
the other hand,
opinions.
is original film. Yeah, sure. Come on. Who are you? Whatever.
Throw money at it. Hey, as long as Disney doesn't get their grubby little paws on it, we're all set here.
Disney pulled their grubby little paws and pulled out all of the shit that was on Netflix, and they've got it now.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
You think we're gonna let you have that? I don't think so, Bucko. So, and that's this Disney story.
Or
That's
Netflix. They've always been the little guys, except when they were really, really big.
No, they're still the big guy.
I know.
Okay. I just want to make sure. I thought you were sincere for a second. I was like, but wait a minute.
Listen, when you're competing against the big Disney, the big D,
And Disney Plus is like launching this week too.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, okay, now are they going to see like a massive drop or like a massive spike to just like offer them something else?
I'm actually super interested in how that's going to go.
I am too. Amanda doesn't know this because she doesn't listen to this podcast, but it's going to be an early Christmas gift to the two of us that I got.
Congratulations.
Because she's a Disney freak, so she's going to get to stay at home and watch all of her like original movies that she loves, like Halloween Town or Smart House or Xenon, Xenon of the Girl of the, what is it, like 21st Century?
21st, I think it's 24th.
Okay, so yeah, you know what it is.
Yeah,
But
the only thing I remember is Cetus Lapidus,
what?
which is one of the, it's like the future slang that they came up with.
Oh,
it just sounded like they were saying Lapinus.
Oh,
every
so
time.
that's why you remember.
That's why I remember it.
Because
Yeah.
you got to chuckle. You're like,
Yep.
this is on children's television.
Stupid.
But
Disney,
yeah.
what are you doing?
So I will let you know next time
Wizards
we
of Waverly
record.
Place, of course.
What? Oh yes, absolutely. I'll let you know what I think of it. Because
Yeah, please.
One of the reasons why I did subscribe is because yes, they have like the whole entire catalog of everything except Song of the South, but they have all the upcoming Marvel shows. No, it's true. And I'm actually, to sidetrack for a second, I'm listening to the current season of You Must Remember This podcast, where they go into the history of like films from the golden age and the early days of Hollywood. And right now, because of Disney Plus coming out, she's doing the whole season so far on Song of the South and the history behind it. And it is fascinating because, yeah, you know why it's not being shown anywhere.
Of course we know why.
Especially in this day and age. But just to hear, like, one of the reasons why they decided to do it in the first place, and then, like, all the repercussions. And, like, it ran in theaters 4 different times in, like, 4 different, like, I was going to say centuries, 4 different decades. So it's like, it was around and around until finally someone was like, guys, we shouldn't be showing this or releasing it to like Laserdisc or VHS or anything like that.
Really need to.
But yeah, so that was one sidetrack. But the other reason why I'm getting Disney Plus is because of The Mandalorian. Because I could give
The Mandalorian.
the current Star Wars films, I don't care. The last one that I really enjoyed was Rogue One, and that was it. I have not seen Solo. No fucking reason to, because you know he's going to survive and then pop up.
Yep.
And then the last one by, I think it was Rian Johnson or whatever, it just left such a fucking sour note in my mouth.
Johnson, I believe it actually was.
Rian.
Rian?
Rian. Rian
excuse me.
Johnson.
Sorry.
I think. I could be wrong on that, but I just don't care at this point because I fucking hate that movie so much.
Yeah.
I'm not thrilled to see this upcoming movie. Like, I used
Really?
to be the biggest fucking Star Wars fan.
Yeah, you were a huge Star Wars
That
nerd.
killed it for me. Like,
Wow.
I will wait until it comes out on movie, DVD, whatever, to see it. When it
Disney
comes out
Plus.
on movie. When it comes out on movie, I will see it then. No, when it comes out on DVD or streaming, maybe I'll put some time in. I'm not going to be seeing it opening weekend. I'm not going to be seeing it in its theatrical run.
Wow.
You can hold me to that.
I saw episode 1 with you I'm pretty sure.
I don't think so.
Oh, maybe it was episode 3.
No, that sounds more like it.
Yeah.
Because I remember for episode 1.
No, it's you know what I'm thinking of right now.
What are you thinking of?
We went and saw Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
We
together.
did, and we brought our towels.
We brought our towels.
We
along
did.
with
That
us.
was fun.
Yes.
God, that just let's talk about Hitchhiker's Guide.
Okay,
Because
I would love to.
I feel like that got such the shaft when it came out. Like
it really did.
And you had Jim Henson puppets, which was like a perfect combo for like the wild Douglas Adams like imagination.
Absolutely.
You had Martin Freeman and like Mos Def. Sure, I knew he was a rapper, but it's like okay, he pulled off that acting. I thought
He did.
He was enjoyable to observe. The only kind of sour note I have to say was Zooey Deschanel because she can't act and it's really wooden. But she was the pretty face for that franchise or whatever.
She was the pretty face, and for what it's worth, she was trying to be British comedy, which is super duper dry.
Yes. Yes.
And her being super duper dry is one of her strengths.
Yes.
Absolutely. It may not be on purpose.
No, it's not. She's the last person to know about it. Like, oh, wait, this is a comedy? I thought it was a sci-fi.
Oh, I thought I was just going to do... I was going in, and then the guy had 2 heads. It was weird, but whatever.
Yeah, and like one of Sam Rockwell's like earlier roles too. Like he was known for like Galaxy Quest and that and a couple other things at the time. And then, oh my God, like Alan Rickman as Marvin, Bill Nye as like, yeah, oh my... It was like the best movie, and I remember at the end of that when they go off into like the restaurant of the
Restaurant at the end of the universe.
Yes, we're like, okay, when's that movie coming out? And then it just fucking tanked at the box office.
Yeah, it really did tank.
No one watched it. I was like, oh, but it's so good. Like I still have it, the DVD somewhere, like lovingly, and I should watch that again.
You should.
That would
watch
be
it
a
again.
really good rewatch, I think.
It was a very British comedy
It
that
was.
came out for a very American audience.
It
It feels like that's what they were aiming for. And I wonder if the clash between the two types of comedies...
I can see that. Yeah, because I think
the
also
problems.
comedies at that time were, definitely like more American Pie, very like bro-y, very haha, frat house humor. And then you have the sophisticated, based off a very best-selling novel. And it's like, usually this isn't Pride and Prejudice. What the hell is this? Yeah,
right.
British and based off a book. That's the go-to there. But
the Pride and the Prejudice and Zombies.
you know what? I would love to see. I know they did the radio series, and I'm sure they do that every so often. I would love to see a relaunch of that and like put it on a streaming platform as a series.
HBO, because you are listening.
Because you're already quaking in your boots.
Yes.
On the
Sitting there,
competing podcast.
we didn't know what the fuck to do with Game of Thrones.
Just give it to him. Give it to someone.
We've got Watchmen, but it's superheroes. Who cares?
What? I don't know. But yes, I think honestly that could be very well on like maybe an Amazon or a Netflix.
Hey.
I think that would, if you give it a budget, because I mean Netflix is fucking adapting Cowboy Bebop. It's like, okay, that's an anime that no one thought was adaptable,
Especially when you had deep '90s cuts right now.
Yeah, with Keanu Reeves as like the lead star attached for forever. Well, unfortunately though, they had to stop production on it because they're they're filming it in New Zealand, I believe. But John Cho like broke his knee or something. He had some really bad onset accident, so they had to fly him back, and so now production is like on hold for
completely halted.
at like at least 8 months or something like that. It's insane because you can't just up and stop a production.
Sure.
And especially in New Zealand, you can't just like, all right, well, it's like LA, I'll just go back down the street and go get some other gig. Everyone has to fly back out. I'm sure they've already put down roots over there because they're like, all right, well, I'm going to be here for a couple months filming this. But I mean, I think, back to, we're on so many sidetracks, and I apologize.
That's fine. That's what the people tune in for.
Bowl full of candy over here. Just having something involving Hitchhiker's Guide on a different platform, because then you could do justice to the rest of the series.
Yes, they've got all 3 books to go through. All 3 books of the 4-book trilogy.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. And I think I was reading in Full Bleed, which is a comic. It's like a comic book / anthology. It's kind of like the Comics Journal, where they have different comics related things. They had an interview with one guy who owns the rights to Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency, and they went through his whole trajectory of how he did the stage play for it back in the day, invited Douglas Adams. Douglas Adams was a fan and always was in chat with the guy, and then he like inherited the rights after Douglas Adams passed away because like his lawyer said like, oh, I know you're a big fan of this work, would you like to take on the rights? And then they made that show with
every fan's dream.
Yes, with Max Landis on the BBC America, which went for a couple seasons. I mean, that did well enough for a second season, and that's just something even more out there than Hitchhiker's Guide. if you want science fiction, if you want humor, and you want to get those Muppet puppets again, like up and operational, I think that would be a great, fantastic decision.
I agree, and Good Omens proves that
It's
they're,
right.
they're looking for the British comedy
Yep.
angle, at least on Amazon Prime. So, hey, Amazon Prime, you don't have Watchmen.
No,
right?
you
You don't
don't.
have your big next show. What are you going to move on to? Hitchhiker's Guide. Everybody knows it. Get on it.
Well, that, and they're doing that really popular show that was on Sci-Fi for a while, The Expanse. Like, that's apparently coming back, and it's like next season on Amazon, and they're like really, everyone's
Like
like,
Expanse, that was like drama, wasn't it?
yes, but apparently it was really well done. Like, I haven't read the book that's based off the Leviathan, I think it's called.
So far as I've been told, Expanse is the Star Trek that Star Trek fans actually want.
Oh,
Because
really?
the Star Trek that came out, Enterprise,
Okay.
well, Enterprise was forever ago, but the Star Trek that just came out.
With on CBS.
Yes.
Yes, that one.
CBS All Access.
All Access.
was
streaming.
not the Star Trek that everybody wanted.
I heard mixed reviews though. Like, I haven't seen it. Like, I have access to it, but it's just one of those things where it's like, listen, I enjoy Star Trek as much as the next guy, but I mean, I'll watch Picard. I will watch that one because I love Jean-Luc.
I am so ready for Picard.
Okay, good. I thought you were gonna be like, okay, this is really different. No.
I'm so ready to watch it, and that is as far as my opinion goes. I have no idea. Because the last couple of Star Trek
Movies?
by the way, Star Trek, Mark. Hey,
Yay.
I didn't watch any Star Trek growing up. My mom watched a lot of the original series.
Okay.
And so from time to time, she'd be watching it. I would see it. Space. He's a guy in a costume. Hit him. Like, that's all it was, obviously. And then The Next Generation is something that I sort of picked up on in college. And it, fine. That was good. I never really sat down and watched the whole thing until someone recommended Deep Space Nine. He was a good friend of mine. And I say, okay, Deep Space Nine, I'll give it a shot. And I love.
And that was your
Deep
gateway
Space
right
Nine.
there.
That was my gateway right there. And then I went back to the whole thing.
Oh, wow.
And I watched it all, including Next Generation Season 1, which everyone's like, just don't worry about that.
Just skip that one.
Just listen. There's actually like 3 characters in there that disappear.
They
entirely.
didn't know what they wanted to do
Yes,
at the time.
they
Like,
didn't.
Jean-Luc thought, Patrick Stewart thought like it was something completely different that he was going into.
Yes, he did.
Yes, and so and then eventually they had to crack through that curmudgeon shell. And like, no, you're an established, esteemed British actor. That's great. Have a little fun with it, though.
Yeah, you're
don't take it so seriously.
You're a captain, and you're just kind of out, having a good time.
Yes.
You're not literally an asshole.
No, you're not you're not like the other guy who's betting green women every episode. No,
Yeah.
you're a different beast.
worry.
But no, that's great to know because
Yes.
I mean, I haven't seen. I saw when they did the relaunch with J.J. Abrams, the movie franchise. I remember seeing the first one. I was like, hey, well, that's really good, and it kind of ties everything together. Okay,
they
that
were
was
trying to turn Star Trek into Star Wars,
And it's
you
true.
know what? I commend them for accomplishing that feat with the first film.
yes, and it was like, okay, that was a fun little action romp, but it's like, okay, how are they going to make a whole trilogy out of this too? Because when the second one came out, and then everyone's like,
Turns
oh,
out they didn't.
no.
They made it. It's out there.
It is out there, no, but like I remember the whole drama with Benedict Cumberbatch. Everyone's like, "Oh, so he's gonna be Khan," and then like every fucking interview, like, "No, he's not gonna be Khan. No, he's this character instead." No, and, like everyone's calling him out, like, "No, guys, it's gonna be Khan. We know it's gonna be Khan." And then it's released, and he's like, "Oh, you fuckers, you all thought it wasn't Khan." We're like,
Yeah,
"No,
we got you."
we knew it was Khan." I haven't even seen the third one. The what do they call it? Like the undiscovered
find
country,
out.
not undiscovered country. No, it was like
Undiscovered.
wilderness. Something I don't know, but I'm not gonna watch
Into
it.
Darkness.
Into Darkness?
Star Trek Into Darkness.
That's okay. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Maybe it did. Edit in the correct one here.
No, I won't. Because that's how much we don't care about the
That's
movie
how much we
franchise.
don't
But
care.
no, I haven't seen the new All Access series. I've heard mixed things. But no, when I saw the trailer for Picard and how it's going to be essentially kind of a reunion with the whole Next Generation crew, I'm like, okay, sign me up. If this is his like last rodeo, like before he goes off into the vineyard sunset to make more. By the way, those bottles were going for quite a pretty penny.
Really? Were
Yes. There was like a Romulan ale type version where it was like $180, and then there was like the regular Picard like Merlot or something that was like, or Cabernet Sauvignon that was like, I think it was like $125. But like you could get either one or you could get them in a pack, and they like sold out like hotcakes.
Yeah, but they did.
Especially seeing just like the Picard Vineyard wine label, you want to get the bottle just for that alone.
And Romulan ale is supposed to be the best in the galaxy.
It's supposed
at least
to be
in this quadrant.
but I don't. I think it was like something Romulan equivalent because I think also that's blue. Like I think
Yes,
that's
it is.
Yes,
It's bright blue.
It's bright blue. But it was like something as opposed to like a Romulan vineyard. I could be completely wrong, but I just remember I think Romulan was in there at one point in that title. But anyway, yes.
Anyway.
I like that.
I'm looking forward to Star Trek Picard. As I said, I'm looking forward to it as one on looks a NASCAR race, and they don't want to see it crash, but if a crash happened, that'd be awesome. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. I'm really ready for the. I don't want to say subtleness because there was not a lot of subtlety in, I'd say, half the episodes of Star Trek Next Generation, but there was some, and that completely has not happened in the last couple of, let's say 3 or 4 Star Trek ventures, excuse me.
Oh boy.
Yeah, Star Wars
You were about
ventures.
to get that.
No, there was a little too much subtlety in the last Star Wars venture. Little way too. It's about family.
Yeah, it's
That's
about
really.
at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But no,
So we'll see how Picard goes.
yeah, hopefully it'll be great. Hopefully, I mean, I would assume they want just maybe 1 season out of it because you have to get Patrick Stewart out of retirement to play that role again. It has to be something. I mean, yes, money's involved too. Like, no, we're throwing everything at you. Just please come back for just a season of something.
Right.
But I think it also has to be a good enough script that he's like, all right, I have to do the character justice one more time. Make it so. He tells his lawyer to sign on the dotted line there. But
Engage.
yes, but with kind of going back into the general discussion of streaming and different seasons and stuff like that. You mentioned Good Omens earlier. Yes, that was adapted from a whole book, and it's only been 1 season. And I think that was the right thing to do, rather than trying to cram it into a 2-hour movie. They expanded it over like a couple of episodes.
A miniseries.
A miniseries.
Fantastic.
And you stop it right there. You don't even try to make it like, oh, season 2, because there's no material for season 2. There were ideas between the two, but Neil's the only one left here, and I don't think he wants to accidentally fuck up the legacy of one of his writing partners there.
Terry Pratchett has quite a bit of a long legacy, let's say, of some weirdo stuff, and I'm sure Neil Gaiman was able to do some great. I don't obviously know how the collaboration went,
right?
But suffice to say, it was very collaborative.
Yes,
because
took them a while too. Yeah. They even had to shelve it at one point because they just didn't like the ending. They're like, okay, well, where do we go? How do we end this thing?
Right.
Because all this build up, it's like, okay, where do we go from there? Like, how are we going to wrap this up nicely in a little bow? And I think the series did it justice.
I think it did.
I think it was a lot of fun. And yes, it did remind me of Douglas Adams. It did remind me of we need more kind of comedies like that. I think there's more of a market now today than there was even 10, 20 years ago.
Well, now we've become so interconnected. Economics podcast.
Yes.
Now we've become so interconnected across the pond, and with just everything that they've got in Britain, we're seeing now, and everything that obviously they've been seeing. Yeah. Let's say 55% of the stuff coming from America.
We've had an influence overseas. Yeah.
Yes, we've definitely had a bit of an influence, especially in India.
Colonism. Yeah. Colonialism. Colonism. I'm an English major over here. Yeah, go ahead.
It stinks. Because we've got so many things that we're able to see from all different parts of the world at this point. Why not, right? It has become a much larger palette that people have. And on top of that, there are ways that you can look and find the things that you want to see.
Absolutely.
That there just weren't there before. If I wanted to go in and buy anime somewhere, there were 2 places to do it in the 90s, and now it's fucking everywhere.
Yes, you can subscribe to Crunchyroll and essentially get every anime.
Exactly. We're not sponsored by Crunchyroll.
No, we're not. So Crunchyroll, if you want to change that.
Just let us know.
Well, actually, Amazon owns Crunchyroll now, I believe.
Oh, hey, good for them.
But also, going back to Pratchett for a second, I think they're making Discworld. I think they're adapting that into a series.
God.
I think they have. I think there was an announcement a while ago.
They could do some really weird things with it, and if they don't get Eric Idle, then I don't know what I'm going to
Because unfortunately, it was one of those times when all these things started getting greenlit after his death, because all of a sudden, Terry Pratchett, I enjoyed his stuff.
Right.
And then some executives let me read that book again. Who has the rights to this? Oh, we do now? Okay, great. Let's do something with it and
all right,
honor the memory.
Yeah.
I mean, you're seeing that also nowadays. Like David Bowie recently passed, and then now all of a sudden, all these books are coming out, all these comics. There's 2 or 3 movies in the work right now of just his life and his whole family in the state is just no, we're going to greenlit this one, or we're going to put out a press statement about distancing ourselves from that one. So it's quite the time to be alive. It's quite the time to have all these properties competing against each other. And yet, at the end of the day, the fans somehow still win. I mean, some things might get canceled, and you might try something new, and then oh wow, I can't believe that I hadn't seen that before. Or especially if it's a relaunch of something, or they're bringing back this cast for this thing. So, I mean, I enjoy it, but at the same time, though, it's such a fucking overload.
There's a lot. There's a lot of streaming services.
Yes.
There's a lot of things to see. There's a lot of adaptations of older properties that are just constantly going on. And I think
Those are the worst, too. Just
Yeah,
like,
right.
oh, we'll try to give this legs again. You're like, just stop. You don't have to. It was just on air 2 years ago.
which Terminator movie are we on right now?
And it flopped. So we won't be getting any more, thank God. And even they're like, oh, well, this is the approved one by James Cameron. And like, he was an executive producer and they got Linda Hamilton back. It's like, no, it did poorly because the last 3 sucked so much. So people are
really
done.
poisoned the well.
Move on. You know, I mean, yes, Avatars 2 through 17 are coming out in a couple of years.
course,
But
good.
don't keep going back to the Terminator. That story's been told. So
But
yeah.
you know what that frees up? Now that the Terminator is pretty much done deal, because they tried it 3 times and it didn't work. RoboCop. I think we're
RoboCop.
getting new RoboCops. RoboCops 2 through 15. Here we go.
Well,
RoboCop has already been in Chicago or wherever the hell he was.
It was Detroit, yeah.
Detroit, yeah, sure, same thing. Let's put one RoboCop in Chicago. Let's put RoboCop in Montreal. He speaks French now. Let's put RoboCop in Orlando. Let's put RoboCop right here in your house. You've got a tiny RoboCop. It's Black Mirror season 7.
I don't mind that. That would be cool.
Everyone's got a RoboCop. He shoots your dick off every time you ask him to.
Well, thankfully, they did try to relaunch that, and it failed epically because they tried to make like some updated take where it was just like, no, yeah, all this stuff that you guys loved, we're going to make it cooler. And everyone's like, well, we don't want it cooler. We like the
cool
old...
in the first place.
Yeah, exactly. So
the stupid ass aesthetic.
that came out, and Total Recall came out around like the same time.
Yeah.
And so both of those were just like, oh, yeah, no, we don't want that.
Wait, Total Recall came out?
Yes.
Oh, I totally forgot.
Well played, good sir. All right. Well, okay. We've been chatting and kind of, going back and forth here. I know you have a list, as always.
I do have a list,
You're
as
always
always.
prepared. People behind the scenes here, I always like, all right, well, we'll just like look over to my left here, and look, all my comic books, and something will trigger me. But no, you always come with the list.
So, well, Cameron's a true geek, and he can talk about pretty much anything at any time.
boy.
But I do indeed have a list. There's a few things that have gone on in the video game world. Again, I don't want to bore Mr. Cameron to tears.
No,
He doesn't care
I
that
love
much
this
about
stuff.
it.
No, I really am.
So, the big recent news that has gone on, and I'm sure you've actually heard a thing or two about this, is Mr. Big Old Blizzard having their BlizzCon convention.
Yes.
The big highlights from the whole thing is Diablo 4. Hey, that's going to be super cool.
Oh, really?
Yes. I am excited about it. I was kind of excited about Diablo 3. There were people who were like, this doesn't look enough like the old shit that I remember. I'm like,
You can still go play the old shit,
It's been
though.
20 years.
Yeah.
You can play the old stuff. There's Path of Exile if you really want to play that. Not that I won't bore you with that. But Diablo 4 looks cool. I'm hoping to see more. It looks kind of early, so we'll see where it goes.
Okay.
But I'm excited enough about it. It's coming to consoles as well as PC.
Okay.
Yes, in the same way that Diablo 3 eventually did.
Did they give out like little earlobes at the convention, like with like the release date on it?
Chopping off the
I would
ears on it.
totally buy one of those. Like,
God,
okay, cool.
I wish they did. No, that would have been brilliant.
Yeah, that
but,
would've been.
No, that was just simple flyers. Not creative anymore.
Oh, boy.
They have now Overwatch 2. Are you familiar enough with Overwatch, I assume?
I know that one of my friends, one of Amanda's cosplay friends, went to BlizzCon dressed as Widowmaker from Overwatch, and her
I saw the
headset-
helmet in the
yes,
in the
it was
picture.
badass. So yeah, so she's all about that.
Yeah.
So because for a while I was getting confused with both Fortnite and Overwatch because they were both like insanely popular, but
Yes.
I knew nothing about either. But no, I know Overwatch is now Blizzard's thing because of
Overwatch
you. Yeah.
is Blizzard's thing. Yes.
So now they're coming
and
out with a
Overwatch
sequel.
was a few years before Fortnite, but they've both been big at the same time, definitely. So now there's a sequel. It's kind of weird in that they said, well, there was never a story. It was always just like two teams of 6 shooting each other.
Okay.
And that was pretty much it. You go in, you have fun, you're out.
Okay.
You get costumes, that kind of stuff. And they said, what we're going to do now, they created a big, rich universe in Overwatch, which involved, there was the Omnic Crisis, where people who were, they had created AI and they had created robots, and it had become a big part of society, and people were accepting of them. And then at some point, I don't know enough about the lore to go super into detail, but at some point there was a big war that happened, and the AI like flipped the switch and decided to start killing people, and so the Overwatch went
As they're wont to do. Yeah,
so
yeah.
there's like a lot of lore and shit that they made up for
Okay.
this. They said, we've got all these things. So the only thing that didn't pay attention to the lore was the video game itself.
Oh.
Yeah, so they had like comic books and they had animations. They had lots of little things that involved the future of the series and how each of the characters interacted with each other.
But the
and
actual-
that had nothing to do with the video game at
Oh,
all.
my
The video
goodness.
game was just like, here's the bad guy, here's the good guy. They're on the same team, shooting the same person.
And everyone's
for
like,
no
I'm like,
reason.
but the cannon says,
Yeah.
and they're like, oh, what cannon? How
worry
about,
about that.
how about this arm cannon? Yeah, there's your cannon for you.
This
No.
is the canon we got.
Yeah.
So what they decided to do was with Overwatch 2, it is a single player experience. It
Okay.
might be co-op. I don't remember if they mentioned that, but it's a single player thing. There's levels. There's cutscenes. It's a taking the lore and moving it forward so that you can actually play and watch these characters do what they're supposed to be doing. There are also going to be new characters. There's going to be new multiplayer stuff. But the cool thing about it, and the reason I'm going on and on about it, is they're introducing a lot of new stuff in the game that they're backwards porting into the first game.
Okay.
So any new characters coming out for free in the first game.
Oh, that's convenient.
Any new maps coming out for free in the first game. If you are playing the second game, you can play with people who are playing the first game.
Oh,
At the
wow.
same time. So you don't get any of the new cool costumes.
No.
You don't get the cutscenes. You don't get the voice acting. You don't get the stuff that comes out in the second game, but you're not left out of the loop.
No.
So it's sort of a sequel. It's sort of an expansion. It's an
they're-
interesting way of them doing
They're
it.
trying to make both parties happy. It
Yes.
sounds like they're like, while we enjoy you playing the first one. If you want to play the second one, there's still enough from the first one that you can still interact, especially
Yes.
if you have like friends who can't afford the second one or who don't want to make that jump.
Exactly. And if this is the only thing that you ever wanted was this first one, you don't have to touch the second one.
Right,
It's okay.
right.
We're still going to keep supporting it. They came up on stage, they said the nature of the sequel has always been strange in that just throw out everything that you did before. Let's start again. If anyone knows
With
about
a clean slate.
Yeah,
okay.
clean slate. If anyone knows about Metroid, you get 7,000 cool guns and 150 missiles to shoot with it. And then the next game, she didn't have any of that shit because she just dropped it. So they are looking at how to do this and moving forward with it. I hope that it's going to be cool.
Oh, like what's the reaction been online?
The
Have
reaction
you seen?
is pretty positive.
Okay.
People that like the first game and they're like, I don't really care about the second one, but it's cool that I'm getting everything, so they're still
Right.
happy about it. You know, they don't have any problems, and this gives a way for them to continue to be supported and come out with new stuff in the future
Gotcha.
that other people who have been wanting this kind of stuff can get. The only hope is that it's not going to be $60 because it doesn't sound like it's going to be $60 worth of stuff.
Right.
But the original was 40 and 50 depending on where you got it. So yeah, we'll
It'll
see.
be interesting to see, and I'm sure they'll probably have pre-sale specials and bundles. I'm sure where if you
Yes.
buy this, you can get the T-shirt and then like the little figurine of whatever character that's coming out.
Oh no, they'll have plenty to market.
If I remember,
They've got Activision.
If I remember my WoW days, it was always like, oh yeah, you can get this, or you can get this Expanse Plus pack without this $300 statue, and
You've
then
got
like
a little dog that follows you around too. He's
exactly.
Yeah, and speaking of which, the new World of Warcraft thing, the Shadowlands is what they announced. I don't care enough about it to get on it, but if you like that kind of stuff, you like that kind of stuff.
It's gonna be same going back to the well in a sense.
That's the thing that you wanted. Enjoy, you guys.
Did they mention anything about Hong Kong or China?
Oh, interesting. No, they didn't.
I
That's
wonder
very strange.
why.
So
Yeah.
let's recap on that. Anybody who hasn't paid attention to any of that kind of news. Hearthstone is another game. There's more Hearthstone shit too. It's another card, whatever. Hearthstone is owned by Blizzard. It's got a lot of the World of Warcraft stuff turned into a card game. It's on your phone. Everybody's heard about Hearthstone.
Okay.
Right? It's a little bit like Magic the Gathering, but it's Blizzard owned.
It was brought to you by Blizzard. Yes.
Brought to you by Blizzard. So what happened was they're big all over the world. And China is a massive, massive market, especially for video games, especially for online video games. There's so much piracy that goes on.
And gold farming. Let's be honest, gold farming.
And gold
Yeah,
farming
yeah.
and stuff. There's a lot of things that they care about, and Blizzard games have always been catering to them. So there was a Hearthstone tournament that happened somewhat recently over in China, and it was Chinese participants. It was hosted by Chinese people. There were Chinese-speaking announcers.
It was
that
a
were
big
doing
event.
It was a big Chinese event.
Yes.
Right? It was almost nothing to do with Blizzard at all, aside from the fact that it was named, but they did hire these people to go and host the whole event.
Right.
The winner of the event came on And he was talking. They said, yeah, I won. I tried this. The announcers, oh, which card did you use? That kind of stuff. And at the very end, they said, well, what ended up being the end, the Chinese announcers asked the player something. The translation I'll get to in a second. But the Chinese, they asked him something, and then he puts on a gas mask, and he says, freedom for Hong Kong, revolution of our day, which is a big cry. The gas mask is a big thing. They want to move away from the communist rule,
Right.
as the case may be. And that exploded, you might
As
say.
one would assume,
That
yes.
exploded, yes. So
Did they cut the feed right away?
they cut the feed very quickly. The two announcers actually ducked under
Oh,
the desk
really?
because they knew what the fuck was going on.
They knew something
And
was about to open fire.
and as it turns out, the translation later is that the announcers said, just say the 8 words and we'll let you finish. So they egged him on to do it, but he was totally ready to do it as well. So it was all kind of a big fault thing with them.
okay.
They wanted to do it. But China, as you may or may not know, has a bit of a problem
Yeah.
with freedom of speech.
Yes.
Especially when it comes to freedom of speech about the government.
And especially that's one of the reasons why they're trying to get this extraction bill in Hong Kong passed. And so then if they don't have any dissent from a protester or a big name in Hong Kong, they can just take them over to the Chinese stateside border and then go through the kangaroo courts there and go like, oh, I'm sorry. No, yeah, we find you guilty of what? Yeah, that's what we find you guilty of.
Well, goodbye.
Off to the work camps with you where you have horrible conditions and are probably going to end up dead.
Yes. So suffice to say, that's probably where all 3 of them are right now.
Yeah, probably.
Well, we
unfortunately.
really don't know. It was such a big event that it's since exploded.
Yeah.
That, who knows how BlizzCon's doing now. But the big thing that happened was feed got cut within, I think it was like less than an hour. It was like 20 minutes. Blizzard put out a statement. It turns out it was people in China. A Chinese company was running the event that put out the statement. They put out a statement. They said, we don't support any of this stuff.
Right.
We're sorry to do this. We will always respect Hong Kong and its desires, or China and its desires. Something that's paraphrasing, but that's close to it. And everyone goes, whoa, what?
Yeah.
This guy has been banned permanently. He has been revoked of all his winnings, and we've fired the 2 people who were running the 2 announcers who had asked him the question, and we're done with him. And everyone goes, can he not just say things? He just said a thing.
Yeah.
Is all he did.
I have gamers talking to my ear all the time on my multiplayer saying what they're going to do to my mom. So, like, if this guy can't even, like, say that's something simple as that, yeah.
So it was a big freedom of speech thing, and they tried to back out on it like a week later.
Of course,
it was
because
late on a Friday when they said, we're really sorry, we gave him the money back.
By the
He's
way,
still banned
BlizzCon
for
next
6
weekend.
months.
Yeah.
BlizzCon is coming up.
Yeah.
Don't worry about
Get
it.
your tickets.
So the funniest part of the whole thing was at the very beginning of BlizzCon. They have a big opening ceremony, and before they go, and here's the new shit, they have a big opening ceremony, and the CEO of Blizzard, which is owned by Activision, but he's the head of Blizzard. He comes out and he says, hey, we understand there's been a lot of controversy, there's been a lot of talking. We want to know that we respect everyone, and we have freedom of voice. It wasn't really up to our decision to doing something like this, but we tried to stay apolitical as much as we can. The whole time that he's talking about this, he doesn't ever say what happened. And he doesn't ever say the word China or Hong Kong.
He's being as ambiguous as possible.
Ambiguous as possible, so that the red Chinese flags don't go off. And suffice to say, it was a big old apology about, I'm sorry, I missed it. What was the apology about? Oh, you're done? You're done talking?
Now, was it like a Streisand effect when then all of a sudden people are like, what is he talking about? And then
No,
like searching?
everybody knew.
Everyone
Everybody
knew.
knew.
Okay. Well, I mean, I would assume you would have to if you're
Yes.
like, if this is in your blood and
At that
veins.
point.
Yeah.
And there was a person who rushed the mic at one point during one of they have
Really?
open Q&As. And he's like, free Hong Kong, and everyone on the stage just goes like, moving on.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was a bit of a debacle.
That's
If I
hilarious.
can say my personal tastes on
Yeah,
it.
go ahead.
I think that the whole thing is bullshit, and I know that China is authoritarian as fuck, and I know that they will crack down on pretty much anything.
Yeah.
As a big corporation that only cares about money, I can understand why they made that move. And
Well,
I'm
of
glad
course,
that
yeah.
I'm glad that they backed off
Uh-huh.
and they gave him the prize winnings back.
They did.
They gave him the prize winnings back, and they released it. I think it went from a permanent ban. It was said it was a permanent ban to a year ban, and now it's a 6-month ban. I mean, it's still banned. You're still banning the guy
Yeah.
for speaking his mind. That's still a little shitty. I feel like they went as far as they could in the most cold, unfeeling way possible to say we're sorry.
It sounds like they were just biting down and taking it and just like, okay, I just need to get through, like crawling through this hallway of glass just to get to the other side where we can just never talk about this again
Just be totally done with it.
and continue to take all those billions from China and Hong Kong
Yes.
and sleep better at night. Yes.
Yeah, that's what they're hoping for. And as a cold, unfeeling corporation that cares not a say, the only thing they care about is that you give them money.
Yes.
And they don't care a single thing about anything else.
No.
And I don't know why anyone expects a giant corporation to do anything otherwise. The only thing is that they wish they did something different.
Yeah, I'm sure if they had more of a heads up, they could have had a better statement or they could have approached it better. But yeah, no, they were probably in crisis mode. Like, shit,
yes.
before our entire industry gets the plug pulled in China, and then all of a sudden, like, our bottom line is just in the red there. We need to put a spin on this as quickly as possible to show that we're still subservient. We still want their money. We still want to work with them. And we can deal with the fanboys later because they don't really have any real power. Because at the end of the day,
no real power.
they're not going to all go and on strike and like not log on, or they're not going to pay their monthly
And there
bill.
was a wonderful thing when it first happened. There were people who were like, "I'm deleting my Blizzard account."
No, you're not.
I'm getting rid of it. And 2 weeks go by, and they came out with and we're releasing a demo of Overwatch 2 or whatever they released a demo of. There were so many posts online about people like, "Hey, I deleted my Blizzard account. Is there any way that I can get it back now?" I was in solidarity, but the solidarity is kind of liquidarity now, so I don't really care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just show them the new shiny thing, and
Show
then they
them
come
the
right.
shiny thing.
Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in.
Back in.
Well, that's insane, though. Like that whole, and especially like so close to something as big as BlizzCon, because I know that's been a much bigger thing throughout the years, especially in Southern California. Did it always used to be in Southern California?
Always.
Okay.
It's always been in Anaheim.
I'm thinking of the one that like took place, or some tournament in like Hong Kong, like a StarCraft 2 or something like that. I forget what I was thinking of in particular, but I know that that's been becoming bigger and bigger on my feeds every year. I'm just like, going to BlizzCon.
Yeah.
I personally would probably never go because I don't play video games, first of all. But
You don't care that much.
even cosplayers were saying that they could only go so far if they didn't have a ticket, because I guess you could go like right up to the front doors at one point and like pose, but now they're really cracking down on that too, because I'm sure they don't want people sneaking in.
Well,
or any of
sure.
that.
And there was a whole Winnie the Pooh protest that was out front.
Oh, really? Was there?
Yeah,
Oh,
there was people in all these big
that
Pooh
silly
costumes.
old bear. I hope he got a lot of honey out of that.
You know what he looks a lot like?
Who?
Anyway.
Okay.
So,
What? I'm just hearing from my producer. They cut the feed in China. I don't get that.
wow.
What?
Oh, our one listener.
No. Xi Jinping. No, please. No, please.
So that was BlizzCon.
Wow.
Yeah, there was a whole big thing that went on with that. The games look great. We'll see how they go. I think we're a few years out from those, so I won't have any more news about that for the time being. But man, that whole Hong Kong controversy was a lot of fun.
Well, I was going to say, yeah, because it seemed like when those protests were happening and that drama was going on, that it hit every industry. Like sports felt it, like television felt it, and video games felt it. And then it kind of really brought back into the discussion of like in like the nationwide discussion of just like, wait, why are we allowing this again? And like, wait, that's showing that they have a lot of control over like that stuff.
Kowtowing really hard.
Yeah, we're like bowing to them almost.
Yeah.
So it is something that while you might not know what's going on in the world, you're still going to feel the effects in some way.
Yes.
So, I mean, yeah, it's just interesting to see how it affects you, though. Do you think you could get a press pass by doing this podcast for like next year?
Maybe. I mean, we were a year out, right? But
Because I remember when, like, back in the day when we were doing this, like, E3 was always sometimes coming up, and, like, people are like, oh, you guys could get a press pass for, like, E3 and stuff. And I remember just being at the time like, well, I don't play video games.
I
So
don't care.
unless they're, like, having a Halo 1, like, revisiting it. I don't know. I mean,
and that was a couple years back already.
Yeah,
so,
okay.
Yeah. You can play the collector's edition.
I
The
could,
anniversaries, if you wanted to do that.
I got a Xbox One out there collecting dust. so,
Perfect.
yeah. I watch my Blu-rays on it now.
It's a good Blu-ray player.
It is. I mean, I recently got, and we can, here's another thing we can talk about.
Yeah.
So the Criterion Collection, they're known for like putting all these like great remastered movies together.
Mm-hmm.
You buy them for like $80 to $100 or whatever because it's just like, oh, it's pristine shit, and they give you all these different bonus features. It's for like the hardcore movie snob, like, oh yes, I have that movie, but do you have the Criterion Collection? I thought not. Good taste, sir. Yeah. Well, they recently for their one, I think it's the.
Imagine the guy gargling wine. It didn't make sense.
We don't know that that's an actual thing because
Yes.
that's above our tax bracket there.
That's a little bit.
A little bit.
We do live in L.A., but those people don't talk to us.
It's true. We're in North Hollywood, which is like not considered LA by some.
Yes, not at all.
Go back to the dregs of society that you came from. But so Criterion recently came out with this past October. They're like, I think it was their 100th. That can't be right though, because I think they've done more movies than 100. But why am I asking you? But their big like number 100 or big milestone was all of the Godzilla films of like the Showa era, which was this one director who kind of started it. So you have like Godzilla through like Godzilla Final Wars, and like they're all remastered, all with like special features now. And the book it came with really caught my eye because they got a lot of different illustrators, and one of my favorite, Yuko Shimizu, she did the covers for it and a couple of the inside illustrations, but everyone got their own like poster that they got to do of whatever movie that was their like project. So like there was like Godzilla Raids Again, King Kong versus Godzilla. So like everyone got like Art Adams did that one. There's Becky Cloonan. There's a bunch of other different artists. But I was like, okay, I love Godzilla. Leading up to the Godzilla film, King of the Monsters, I was watching all these different kaiju films, whether it was Mothra, Gamera, Godzilla, and everything in between, Ultraman. So I was like, I gotta have this. So I plopped down the money, and I came in, and it is a thing of beauty.
Really?
Oh, I love it so much. Like, I haven't watched a single one yet, but I just love it. I love touching it. I love turning the pages. All the DVDs are in the back, and it's just, it is a very well-crafted, put-together product.
That sounds awesome. I'd love to see it.
And I would love to have just some time one of these upcoming weekends. I mean, we're going to the holiday season, so I might have a little bit more time off, hopefully.
Hopefully.
To just sit down and just enjoy the fuck out of these films. Because it's like, okay, now I know they're here. And while I don't buy DVDs as much anymore because everything's available online and digital,
Right, yeah.
it's like, okay, this I really want to have. And I really want to just put on whenever I want, wherever I am that has a Blu-ray player or a Xbox One, and just sit back and just watch some good old-fashioned kaijus beating each other up, and I'm thrilled. Like,
That sounds like someone tapped directly into your brain.
it's true because it was like rumored apparently online for the longest time. They're like, oh yeah, they're trying to get the rights because apparently like certain producers had certain rights to certain films, and so they had to make sure like, okay,
that's for years and years of Godzilla films.
Yes, and so I think it like the whole process was like at least 10 years trying to get this whole like collection together. And then they're like, okay, well, this new movie's coming out. If we can like release it around the holiday time, that can be a #1 seller. And then apparently Barnes and Noble every Black Friday, they have a huge Criterion Collection sale.
Oh, hey.
Everything's like 50% off. So a lot of people didn't buy this because they're like, oh, well, I wait for the sale, the Black Friday sale. But that means you have to actually go to a Barnes and Noble though. And I don't want to wait in line. The last time I went out during Black Friday, like, yeah, I don't even remember what I got, but it was chaos. Like, I avoid every place.
Absolutely.
I'll just look to see if there's anything on Amazon or for the Cyber Monday, see if
Cyber
anything
Monday,
tickles
that's
my...
what I'm all about, yeah.
Yeah, just to see if there's anything that even remotely looks good, because, the lizard mind says, like, I gotta have everything. Oh, that's a sale.
Gotta have it now.
That's a discount. I gotta have that. I have a TV in our bedroom that's still, like, a Black Friday thing from, like, a decade ago. So it's just like... when you get that sale, and that's what we get. You get for the TVs or the electronic devices, but even though it's probably going to last a couple of years because they intentionally put those lesser products and things in there.
Time for these to go. Goodbye.
Yes. Oh, it's a Black Friday sale. How
get
about
it for
that?
$100 because it's costing more than that to keep it on the floor.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean... what do you look for when you're like? Do video games have their like Cyber Monday sales as well?
They have Black Friday stuff. Every once in a while, one big one will come out. And I was going to talk a very short amount.
Please,
Death
by
Stranding.
all means, yeah.
Death Stranding is a game that has just come out.
Okay.
As of 2 days ago. as we're recording this podcast at least. And I'm very much hoping that's going to be coming up on a Black Friday sale because I don't think it's selling very well. Yes.
So you're just hoping, okay, it's not doing so
Yeah.
hot. Well, that's to my benefit.
But most of the time, if you want Steam on your computer is always doing sales of all kinds. There's a lot of video games that just never go on sale. Sometimes you can get big bundles of the consoles and things, but I've already got them, so I'm not particularly interested. No, I would say the big purchases are going to be the electronics, are going to be the sound systems, and are going to be any of the films and movies and stuff that you're going to be looking for.
Especially with like just regular DVDs at this point too, because everyone wants the high def stuff. So you can get like Target back bins for like $1. $1 a DVD for some classics. Or I'll sometimes get like a big collection, like whether it's like a Police Academy where you have like movies 1 through 6 on like, 2 discs for like $5. And you're like, well, yeah, I'm not going to go out and buy each one individually. But if they make it easy enough that I can just put in a disc and choose from there, then yeah, sure, I'll go with that.
And I'm not about to watch Police Academy 4, but I'd like to have it.
Exactly. In case I ever need to have it.
You never know.
You never know. Oh my God, Steve Gutenberg, you're in my house. Could you please sign my DVD? Thank you.
I'm going to kill you as soon as you're done watching this movie. Well, it's actually
I'm going to get away on my helicopter now. Yeah, the sound effects with never mind. Okay. But I know that comic books are always a big thing now because
Really? I didn't know.
with the Black Friday sale and the
Yes,
Cyber Monday sale,
I figured.
because Comixology is like the largest digital platform for comic books, and they will always be having sales year round. But for like some of the bigger holidays too, they have like huge bundles available from like different publishers. But it just never clicked with me. Like digital
Like a big
comics,
newspaper. Like, here you go. We grabbed them.
we just
Had
did
a
a
bin.
whole bunch. Yeah, I just never really subscribed to digital because I don't have a tablet and I don't have like a Kindle, a Fire, or what the color one. I think it's a Fire.
Kindle Fire.
And I mean, I do have some credits available, like on Amazon over the years of graphic novel purchases. They'll be like, $5 off, your next digital purchase of whatever title. But I mean, I know some people out there who just go and buy them by the boatloads. And I mean, I guess they can look at a screen for hours on end and like really read it. I'm definitely more traditional, more old school. Got to have it in my hand. Got to smell the paper, smell the
Something
ink,
about
and all that
the
stuff.
comic book smell.
But I mean, they are also on sale too, so that's another thing I sometimes look out for. But as you can see, I mean, I've had to prune my collection recently. The local
This
library.
is pruned?
Yes, it is. I know. Right. Ha ha. Cameron made it funny. But I mean, it's just one of those things where I have to think about nowadays. Do I really need this? Do I really want this? And if I do, what am I going to get rid of? And I mean, some things on here I can like look and I'm holding onto them for like either nostalgia purposes
Don't say
or
their names out loud. They might be listening.
yeah, oh boy, then I'm going to lose that sponsor too.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just one of those things where everyone loves a good deal. It doesn't matter what you're a fan of. At the end of the day, like there's going to be a huge spike in the economy, taking it back to the economy, and
Yes.
shoppers are going to go
God.
out there. Yeah, this really is maybe I should
Candace's
title
Economy
that
Corner.
the Economist Podcast that no one's listening to. No one should listen. If you're like, no, I want to hear more. I want to hear about the expansion of the macro and the micro. And I'm like, no. You're listening to the wrong podcast.
That's all you got.
That's all
That's
I've got.
all you got.
I've got my claws dug in. I'm just like, please don't make me expand on this. No, I know nothing about this. I'm a simple man. I'm not a
I
smart
pay
man.
my taxes every year.
That's all that matters.
That's all I know. I don't even pay them. I hire a guy to do it.
Yeah, it's true. I do. No, really.
Listen, don't we all?
No, well, I mean, that's one of the things they never taught us in high school. It's like, oh,
Why
no,
would they?
home ec class. Yeah, let's just have that. Or how about we learn how to do our taxes? No, because TurboTax is really wanting to pass bills, so you cannot do it by yourself for free. You have to use their software instead. So thanks, economy. Thanks, school.
This episode's been brought to you by TurboTax.
H&R Block, when you need your taxation needs done.
Texas, the macro and the micro.
Don't be represented, or you know what they say, taxation without representation is a big no-no, so,
I think it's theft. I
don't
think that's what it
tread
is.
on me, Jeremy.
Yes.
All right.
Deal.
Well, before we wrap this up, do you want to talk about anything else? Because I know we talked about one or two things on your
Yes,
list there.
right?
This happened last time. You're like, I have this whole list, and we got maybe
It's okay.
one
I can
thing.
expand a ton upon it. But there's a couple things that I want on the indie front.
By all
There are
means.
two big ones that
Okay.
I want to talk about. Number one is something I bet you would absolutely love.
Okay.
It's called Untitled Goose Game.
I've heard about
Yes,
this.
and that
This
came out
took
on
the
the
internet
Switch.
by storm. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Uh-huh.
If you have any even slight interest of it, it's pretty cheap. I think it's $15 to $20.
Okay.
Get it. It is. They have perfectly recreated what it's like to be an asshole goose. Just ruining people's days. You have a little goal checklist of like grab someone's hat and throw it in the lake. Shit like that. It's so funny, but it's also the animation is so incredibly quality that your little guy is waddling along.
Yeah, I've seen some clips and stuff. Yeah,
there's a button that you press where he just flaps his wings, and it doesn't do anything in any situation.
it's just
to do it. Yep, you just go. You flap your big wings out.
Now, can you die at all? Like, can you accidentally get like
No,
if
you
you
can't.
annoy somebody, they like break your neck or hit by a
They'll
car?
like kick you out.
Oh, they'll
but,
kick you out,
You'll
okay.
be fine. When you're messing around in somebody's house, they'll throw you outside.
My gosh,
Yeah,
that sounds so great.
It is a phenomenal little game.
And it's only on
Pretty
Switch.
Short. It is on Switch.
Okay.
Yes. It's very short, but it's absolutely worth it. I would totally give it a shot.
Okay.
And the second one, and this was easily my game of the year for last year, and this is going to be a weird one. It's called The Return of the Obra Dinn. And it is a game, if you looked at it right now, you'd say, didn't this come out like 100 years ago? It is as a Commodore style. Like the way old kind of black and white, but it's black and kind of green and weird.
Yeah.
And you are solving a mystery on a ghost ship. You're sent out to check out this ship that has come back by the insurance company. They say, we want to find out what's happened to all these people that are on it. And there's nobody alive on the ship. And at the very beginning, you're given a watch. And you say, I don't know what this is for. And you walk through a door and you see a dead body on the ground. It's a little skeleton.
Okay.
That's like been picked clean.
Right.
And then the watch starts to glow and you click on it and then it rewinds time and you hear a couple seconds leading up to the moment that person died.
Oh.
And there are, I think, 45 or 50 people on the boat.
So you have to
and
narrow
you have to
it down.
figure out how each person died on the boat.
Okay.
How they died, why they died, who they were with.
Okay.
And those are all the pieces that you're given, these little tiny clips. And there's a Kraken involved. I'll say that.
Ooh.
It gets nuts. It gets absolutely wild. It's super, super fun.
Okay.
And again, it's a kind of a short game, but it's easily my game of the year for last year. Just totally nuts. It just came out on Switch. It's also on PC. I'm pretty sure that it's on the other consoles as well.
Did it get
PlayStation
good
and
reviews when it
Xbox.
came out?
Yes.
Okay, so and then you finally got around to playing it, and you just love
Yeah.
it.
Well, I played it before.
Oh, you played it
But
before.
it
Okay.
just came out on Switch, which is why I'm bringing it up.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then the very last one is, and this is a way shortening of anything that I could talk about, but Death Stranding just came out, and everyone says 100 out of 100. It's a little boring.
Okay.
Yes.
So
Yes.
it's a good quality game, but just boring.
Just a little bit. It's a game about walking between places. Hideo Kojima made it, who made the Metal Gear Solid series.
Gotcha.
And he is known as being a crackpot who is just batshit insane, and he comes up with the coolest stuff. Dan Aykroyd style, I would say.
Gotcha.
Where you're just like, sorry, what? That's
Did you
wonderfully
repeat that?
creative, but what are you talking about? It's that, but in terms of video games. That just came out. I'm going to get that hopefully when it's on Black Friday, and I'll have more to talk about the next time we talk.
We totally should
in
do
January,
that. Yeah.
I'm sure.
Oh, we can like start off with that. We can be like, all right, yeah. Well, how was your Black Friday? And you're like, oh, a couple months ago. Let me think about that.
Yeah.
Don't you want to ask me what I got for Christmas instead? That's a little bit more recent in the memory.
So how's Martin Luther King Day doing?
Oh, I think everyone's having a dream that day. Yeah, it's a big sale on dreams.
I had a dream.
Yeah, there's this great Perry Bible Fellowship cartoon where there's this mom who goes to like a hippie and gets a dream catcher, and the hippie's like, yeah, this will remove any bad dreams. And then she puts it in her son's room, and he's like playing his guitar, and then like the next day after sleeping with the dream catcher into the like textbooks and like studying
studious,
the studios, yeah. And so like it took away the bad dream of becoming a musician. And wanting him to go to college instead. Whenever I think of a dream catcher, it always makes you laugh because it's very, very relatable. Just like, yeah, no, I'm going to do this for the rest of my life. No, you're not.
Yeah. So speaking of bad dreams, hey, we're still rocking along here in LA, aren't we?
We are, yeah, absolutely. We're still making it work.
We're still making it work.
Some more than others, but yeah.
So we'll have to catch up on that in the next podcast.
Absolutely, and we'll try to make it a little bit more frequent because I mean things happen, obviously, but
You've been very busy recently.
We can always make time for this. It's just a little chat. We're chatting outside of this. Not to spoil anything, this isn't the only time we talk, people.
Actually, I usually leave, and then 2 months I hibernate. I go into cocoon.
Yes.
And then Cameron comes and pries it open and says, hey, you want to get sushi? Let's report a comic.
I got to wear like the clothes I don't care about because the juices and the stink everywhere.
It's really terrible. I can't help the stink. It's just part of it.
Absolutely. Well, Jeremy, always a pleasure. Once again, this episode has been sponsored by Star Seeds by Charles Globitz from Fantagraphic Books. It's very psychedelic, trippy, and amazing outer space. And it'll rock you to your core. It's out of this world. Great sponsor. The best sponsor, some people are saying.
Which volume is out right now?
Oh, that is Volume 2 right now.
Perfect.
But Volume 1 is available at any of your bookstores, Amazon, fantagraphics.com, etc. Do you have any social media you would like to
Yes,
promote?
you can follow me on my empty Twitter at jspaldingvo. You can also I'm on Facebook as well under J Spalding. I'm on LinkedIn if you got a job for me. Let me know.
Please, for the love of God.
Technically, that counts as social media. How about you, Cam?
Cam, what's my name? CamysComicCorner.com. And from there, you can get links to the Twitter, the Instagram, both Cam Comic Corner. And then Facebook, if you want, for whatever reason, Facebook.com/Camy's Comic Corner as
Perfect.
well.
And I hear you record a podcast as well.
Yes. I do a podcast.
Thank you for listening,
illustrations
bitches.
and other musings. Wonderful. Well, thanks for once again joining us. We will talk to you whenever.
Arrivederci.